Hello everyone, my name is Mariana. Please give me thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, great. So me and my teammates did work on an Ascension healthcare website where we was using Selenium with Jira and Jenkins to do automating testing. Here we have business overview where the vision is to provide personalized care where and when it is needed to always ensure a strong, healthy ministry in the United States. And the website purpose is a central hub where patient or user can access healthcare-related information, service, and support, and platform for activities where patient or user can facilitate activities such as price estimation, donation, bill payment, etc. The website key modules are price transparency, donation, bill payment, patient portal, career, specialty care, and find a location. We have what each of these models can offer and enable. So for example, price transparency can offer service cost and prices and enable to make informed decision. The stakeholders are board members, third-party vendors, and patients. Each of them has their own objective and motivation. For example, patient wants to have a portal record to access their record. And the website customer are patients, hospital staff, and collaborators. The module interactions are components or modules, interface, upstream and downstream system. We have definition of this module and examples. So one of the models, such as components or models, has definition individuals functionalities performing specific task. For example, find a doctor, donation, find a location, etc. And the next we have application architecture, where we have client layer, represent the graphical user interface through which user interact with the application. It could be a website interface, a mobile app, or a desktop application. From the client layer through web server, users send requests to application server. This component acts as an intermediary between the user interface and the database server. The database server stores the application's data. So the application server component interacts with the data storage component to perform a read and write operation. So Tenzin is going to take over.
Thank you, Mariana. So for our project, as Mariana already mentioned, our key modules, we kept our in scope the same as those modules. And specifically, I think the price transparency and the find a location were very helpful features. And in terms of the testing, the scope, we started with manual automation, and we also included regression and integration testing. For our project management, we chose to work with Agile Scrum framework with Jira. We started with the release where we defined what our goal was going to be and how long the project was going to take, followed by the epics, which were based on the key functionality that we have mentioned in the scope. Here we also listed the planning and complexity of each epic and how many hours we would assign to those as well. In terms of the stories told us what the epic's functionality was going to be. It spoke in detail about what the breakdown was going to be of the stories. And the task was how we were going to implement the stories that we had already set. It estimated how long we would take and divided each task accordingly. And this is our initial breakup of the days and hours we would require for the project. As you can see, we estimated roughly 2 weeks, 8 days, which we would be working, more productively, and we were 5 team members. And in the assumption, we showed that if one team member worked for 5 hours for 8 days, we would spend minimum 40 hours. But since 5 of us put in 5 hours for 8 days, a maximum could be 200, and if you put more hours, it would go even further. And this is a screenshot of the project management site. Here you can see our sprint. It shows us what we have already accomplished, what is still in progress. It also shows us who was assigned what and what we were going, what needs to be done. We also included the Zephyr Scale plugin. It helps us in tracking our bugs, generating reports. It just keeps a track of our testing efforts, and Holly will show you when she discusses the reports further on that. Also, while we met and communicated every day, these were the key dates for our project. May 13th was when we formally started testing, and yesterday is when we finalized our project. And now I'll hand it over to Raj.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raj, and I'll talk about the test data that we used. So the test data was stored in an Excel file, and then we were able to access the Excel file and use it in our page object model and our data-driven model. So what we started off was each person built a use case for their module that they were testing. And then from the use case, we developed a test case, a manual test case for each of the models. Then we used GitHub for version control. Each one of us had access to the project on GitHub, and we were able to act as collaborators and push and pull from this project file. We were able to do test cases using Chrome, Edge, and Safari. And then we integrated the Git into Jenkins, and we were able to use Jenkins for CI/CD pipeline. And we use many plugins for Jenkins, which we'll talk about in more details later. Here are some of the dependencies we used. So we have the testng, JUnit, Cucumber, Apache Poi, GitHub, and Cucumber, and Selenium, obviously. And this is some of the tools that we used. So we have Excel, PowerPoint, testng, Jira, Maven, NetBeans, WebEx, Eclipse, Cucumber, and Jenkins. I'm going to pass it to Holly to talk about Jenkins in more detail.
Thank you, Raj. Hi, everyone. So I will talk about our Jenkins project with the plugins and reports that we use. So I'll be sharing with you guys our project first on Jira. As Tenzin mentioned earlier, this is the tool we used to manage our project. So over here, we have the backlog where you can see where we created all the issues, all the tasks that were supposed to be done. Right down here, we have the sprint, which was a 2-week sprint with each issues and each state they're in. Right down here, we have the Zephyr plugin that we used for our QA manual testing. As you can see, we have the test cases over here, and we were able to also run test cycles. So right over here, we have a dashboard where all the reports are summarized. So as you can see, we have the assignees with the tasks, with the task number they are working on. We have over here a sprint progress report, a list of the issues over here, the Zephyr report down here, and then the sprint burn down gadget over here. So this was the Git repository where everyone shared their project. And after this, we were able to implement it into Jenkins. So this is our project. on Jenkins. And right on the left side, we have the different plugins we were able to use. On top of these ones, we have the email and Jira configured as well. So you can see them right down here. We have the Jira issue creator over here, and then the email notification over here. So I'm going to be running one test that fails to see how these plugins work. So let me just see. Yeah. So I'll just run this one, and we will be able to see how the plugins generate or notify us of the failures. So as you can see, this test has failed. And if we go on our email and refresh it, we would receive a notification saying that it failed. And also on our Jira, we can go on our issues over here and we can see a build that is failed. It should create an issue over here, build failed. So this is how the email notification works. And just to look at the reports that we have for our project, for the builds that we already did, you can see around the beginning, most of the tests that we were doing were failing. Around the end, we were able to pass most of the tests that we were building. So this one is the trend line that shows that report. This is more of a pie chart showing more than half of the builds that we were doing were passing. This is a bar chart showing the same thing. So I'll pass it on to Sumit for the BDD and page object part.
And over here, the web drivers initial property is for all these web drivers. And it is stored in the file with the URL. So if we change browser, any of the browsers that we have, run the test cases of browsers. And these other references are for web event listeners that created right here. This is it's running in the background, and this is not how normally the test cases show up. This will easily find exactly where the error is coming. So in the console, you can easily tell where the problem is occurring. And next we have is our pages. Each of the pages we were actually able to use this cache lookup annotation. And what this does is it keeps Selenium keeps a cache of this element instead of finding it through the Selenium every time, and it speeds up the process that way. And over here we have all the VOs, which is pretty self-explanatory, and all the test cases and the test pages, they are extending the test base class so it can be used throughout the program. And over here we have test utility, and this is another utility where all the methods that we needed throughout the program are here. This is a method for getting the handle of the different tabs, method for getting the whole of iframe, and the screenshot method, and all our workbook utilities are over here also. And another We have test cases right here, and in test NG class, if you go to the suite, there we have these listeners. So these web event listeners are created for this extent report. This is another boilerplate code that we use to generate the extent report. And this is the structure of our test classes. Each of the test cases, each pages are in the end are asserted with the title. So you can exactly see the titles. And over here, you can see in the console, the 4 test cases have failed out of 6 of them. And if you look more in the console, it will tell you exactly where it's failing. So this was for page object model with the page object model with the data-driven approach. And this is our structure for BDD. And this is where all the feature files are. We use the data table also with the scenario outline. And this is where all of our steps are. And in runner class, we had a Cucumber plugin, and we also used tags to generate the clippets if you're not trying to run through all the test cases. And with the page object model, we were able to produce this emailable report. And this is the extent report we were able to use. And this is the HTML report. And an extent report, if you can see, if you're trying to look at the bug, you can always go back and look at the bug, see where it's created. And over here, the creator test has failed. So it will show you which element it was failing on. And also in Eclipse, there is a screenshot method. So the screenshot is only created when there is a failure of a test case. So this is exactly where the test case has failed. And another report that we have is a Cucumber report. This is showing the features overall. And over here, you can see the test cases. And if I click on one of these test cases, I can go into steps and to see which steps have executed. And these are some of the challenges that we encountered. Pretty much installing it in everyone's machinery and getting the program to work. And that's all we have. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
Give a big round, guys. So first of all, very good job, guys. Awesome work. I think Harish Bhai is here. Or... Okay. So question is, what is the secret of your success, your team success?
Everyone able to.
So how many hours, days you guys were meeting?
At least twice a week, twice or three times including a class. Yeah, last week.
So before you started, like how you divide and conquer the work among your team members?
So as we mentioned it, like each of us worked on different epics or different modules of the website, the key features. And so we had our own test cases going. So that's how we divided the work, and we were able to finish.
So how you will keep tracking of the work progress, because someone
we had deadlines. So by at least I don't know, one of the dates were like May 13, we were supposed to be done with the manual part, and then by another date the automation part. And if we had any challenges, we would bring it together.
Got it. So how I saw you guys are working with the Git. So how did you make sure that each and everyone is, committing their code daily basis or weekly basis? How do you guys define the rules that, hey, in the morning we'll start, evening we'll commit. If there is an issue, let's jump on a call. What was the ground rules for your team?
We actually first started the repo, and then all of us added our test cases for each other to look at. then as it is, because we were meeting every day, there was no strict time, like
Mhm.
this time you will, or, commit. So it was like whenever we had something update, we were there with each other to say, okay, I made a change, I'm going to commit this. Can you see if it's showing up for you? And, so it was, as and when we had something to commit, we would commit, and then since we were next to each other, we would let them know, if we committed something, can you see if it's showing up for you?
So mostly you did coding when you were in person, right? Okay. Now, while you started, let's say, plan A, and as you progress, there was a new learning. So how did you adjust your plan because of some new surprise or new learnings you encounter part of the project progress?
So we had quite a bit of that.
Mhm.
Where some parts would work on one computer
Mhm.
and others, like some would
Mhm.
not. So we always had like our older version that was working,
Mhm.
and then so we keep that and then keep adding to it as the next one was working, and it was it was running on everybody's machine. Then we would kind of update to that project.
Did you encounter any scenario where your test case was continuously not working and everyone has to jump in order to figure it out why it's not working?
Yeah, we had this issue with our case. We were unable to look at the iframe.
Mhm.
So the iframe that it was pointing to, it was not the iframe. It was not the box. It was the whole page was pretty much a different iframe, but it was an iframe. It was not a different
Mhm.
tab. So all of us had to take a look at it.
Did you guys resolve that?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So let's say if you are going through this project again, maybe you have one more month, what additional thing you can add? You have already added a lot more item, but is there anything which you or team think about? I wish I had extra time. I could have done this thing. What are those couple of items which you could add if I give extra time?
There was a report called Spark extent report, and it had really nice graphs. So if you're going through hundreds of test cases, it'll be able to show in different types of graphs, and it's a PDF. So it's a nice one. If I had more time, I will try to make the code also more cleaner. But
I think I would have liked to use or worked on Selenium Grid.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be something that would have been nice to practice. But we already had a lot of stuff to do, so I think we couldn't implement that.
Got it. Now, let's say if some team is asking advice or suggestions, what would you tips, because they're going through, let's say, QA manual class, and eventually they will learn Java, Selenium. What advice would you give to the new teams or newcomers for the project specific?
So I can say from my experience that working together,
Mhm.
especially because we have different level of education in this. So to be honest, besides the process that you present, I learned a lot from these guys. So I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the spirit of team, right? That's a spirit of project, because that's called project, right? So now, what are the what do you call it, key learnings? Like say example, if tomorrow if somebody asks, what did you learn specifically in this project, which excited you, or you can say I will carry on in upcoming projects?
More communication, daily communication, updates. It's very helpful. Raj was mentioning that it calms him down every time we meet, because to see everybody's progress, sort of, okay, we know everybody's on the same page. So, but when we're online, when we're working remotely, it's hard to keep up with each other. So I think meeting in person.
Just kind of gives you a feedback, like where everybody's at. Because sometimes when you're on your own, you can get anxious and you're like, you lose a sense of reality of where exactly you are in the project. You can feel lost, like I don't know what I'm doing, but then your other teammates can feel the same way, but then like if you're meeting in person, you can solve it together. So I think that's a big positive for like meeting in person.
After completing this project, let's say if I ask you your confidence level for bigger or real projects, right? What percentage level you guys feel yourself currently?
Oh, lot.
Hmm? Compared to before the project and after the project, do you see the improvement? Right. But in a real life, the benefits you will have is more people, right? And second, more time also. You will have more time. Of course, there will be pressure, but the time is there because you have 40 hours, right? Here you may be working and you might have multitasking. So guys, give a big round to
Good morning, everyone. This is Himabindu Rajavarapu, and my group members are Mahashweta, Kavita, Shilpi, Anusha, Purva, and Margaret. So our project is Patel Brothers. In our project, next about Patel Brothers. Patel Brothers is US based. Can you move the slide? Yeah, thank you. So Patel Brothers is US-based grocery retail chain that focuses on flavors and foods found in the Indian subcontinent and Middle East. They offer a full line of grocery, including dry goods, frozen items, and fresh produce. Currently, Patel Brothers have shops at 54 locations across the United States of America and are planning to open up at many other places. So this website helped us to test software of the products pickup and delivery. So in this project, the project workflow diagram, we used a Catalan recorder to record the code. We used Selenium WebDrivers to automate the test scripts in Java with help of NetBeans. Parallelly, we created an Excel file for data-driven testing and used Apache POI dependencies to create tests. Then we committed all the codes to GitHub through Jenkins and built and tested, updated, pulled requests, generated various reports to test ng, test results, and other reports. And I want to hand over it to Margaret. Next.
Thank you, Hemabindu, and good morning to all. As you can see, this is our test package. We have made different test cases for different locations. Each one of us has worked on single locations, like one took Chicago location, other Naperville, Schaumburg, Swanee, and thus we worked on different locations for the test cases. And the next we'll go to sequential testing. We have done sequential testing here in the before class section. And then the next thing we have done in our project is about the weight. Here we can see the implicit weight. We have added implicit weight to our project. And we have also done explicit weight for logout areas where we need some weight. We have added explicit weight to our project for all the codes here. And the next one is dynamic drop down. We have also done dynamic drop down where we are using where we are extracting the address. So we have used this code so that it will be easy for us. And then the next one is static drop down. We have used static drop down where we can select the state or similar items like this. And then we have proceeded to screenshot. We have used this code for screenshot where we can take screenshot while we are working, which can be used for the developers. And these are the things we have done in our project. And moving on to the next, we have also done mouse hover thing, which we used for logout area, which we have to use our mouse and do those things. This is included in our code. And the next one we have done is switch to iframe. Here we have used switch to iframe in the area where we are using our credit card details and so on. And the next one is data Excel file. We have used Excel file to save our data for login, logout with incorrect password, correct password, and correct password for several things like that, which is correct and incorrect. This is our data sheet. And the next one is our data-driven testing. We have used FileUtil and then done our data-driven testing with all the password things and all. And the next one is page page object. We have done our page object also for the login page and the logout page. And the next, these are the things we have included in our project course. And now I'd like to hand on to Shilpi. Shilpi, can you take over?
Thank you, Margaret. So after we were done like creating the codes, we used Jenkins to create various amount of test results. This is our Jenkins test ng result. You can see that we have tested one of our sites like Schaumburg, and it's showing all the results. Moving on, this is another way that test ng is creating the result. It is showing how many things have passed, how many things have failed. It is giving us a comprehensive result of the various test cases like the test contact, test payment, test pickup time, test add items, remove items from the cart. So it was a way of testing the workflow. Moving on to the next slide. This is our test analyzer report. This is another plugin in our Jenkins. Now this is showing our build status. It is also showing how many we have skipped and how many we have passed. You can see some of the tests have failed. So this is a way of analyzing your reports. Moving on to the next one. This is our analyzer build status. So it is basically showing how we are doing in total, how many of our test results has passed and built. This helps in easy analyzation of how our codes are working right now, and we will discuss this in detail when we are showing our project. Next. This is build detail for the total project, like passed is 50%, failed is 20%, and skipped is 30%. So that's another way of analyzing how we are doing right now after code coverage. This is another report we have generated. This is the HTML report. You can see we have tested all the things, checkout, add items, delivery method, choose location again. And this is another way of creating HTML report in Jenkins. We also use the JarCoco plugin, and we also use the JarCoco coverage report. So overall, this is showing the overall coverage summary of our project. If you see, we have CS check style, PMD warnings, and check style warnings. You can see that there no items have been reported as problematic here. And moving on. And then we will move on to the real project where Shweta will take you on a roller coaster ride with us. Shweta.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Shilpi. So I'm going to show you our project. So we started looking for the websites, and after finding or going through many websites, we finally come to the conclusion to check the Patel Brothers website. So we all divided the work of who is going to do what module. So based upon the division, then we decided to do the, the total workflow testing from the end-to-end testing. So we started putting it into the priority and did all testing. And like they explained, we have all used various methods to come up with the solution to test everything. So I'm going to run, and then after doing all of the individual modules, then also we did a page object with the data driven. So that we combine both of those things together. And then after that, we put everything in the suite and created everything under one suite. So I'm going to run it for you guys so you can see how it goes. Yeah, so it's taking everything. And after adding items, we want to remove it also. So when we retest it, we don't have to remove it manually. So each and every of us, we did end-to-end testing for each module. So this way, each of us will learn everything and help each other too. Couple more minutes, sorry guys. So as you see, it's taking everybody's drop down, dynamic drop down, whoever putting whatever the information in the address, it's looking for that address and selecting from the drop down, which is not hard coded, it's the dynamic. So we use the dynamic code for that. This one is testing for various different username and password, correct username, correct password, and all the combination plus the empty and empty username, use empty password also. So we check the login basically in and out for all possible scenarios using the data driven instead of doing single separate test cases.
Good, guys. Awesome.
Yeah, almost done, sorry. And we had to use the real credit card, which had
Oops.
gift
I don't
card.
want to see. I don't want to see that.
Gift card. It's a gift card. You can use only 20 cents left, but that was the key to make us go all the way to the end. If we did not have real, then we would have to. So this is our report. Out of 55, only one test failed, which is very good. So that's I learned this one for the test suite that I did not learn in the past. So I'm very proud. In this one, we had to prioritize method in the test cases itself. So first everybody did 1 to 11, 1 to 11, and then we were having conflict. So then we figured out that do separate numbers first, so that way it goes in the sequence. So that one part we learned. And then I'm going to take you through the Jenkins part. So let me see. Right here. So this is after finishing the project, we did move it to the Git, and from Git we brought it into the Jenkins. So this is my Jenkins project, and I'll show you. Like they explained, we have various reports they came out. If I play it, it will take a long time, so I don't want to waste time. So this is the HTML report that we received after the test case pass. Then other plugin this is pretty common, test ng result that we all know, and coverage trend. And then we did a check style. And if there is an issue, it will show that where is the problem, but so far it's going good. No issue reported. PMD, also no issue reported. And I also did email, but email didn't go through, so I'm not gonna show. So that's about it.
No, awesome. First of all, give a big round to this group. So Mahasweta, like just you and your team, anybody can answer. How did you guys plan for this project?
We plan.
Actually, there was a long conflict because we tried several websites for almost 4 or 5 days. We tried several websites where we got security issue. We were not able to continue. And at last we came with this one and it helped us.
Yeah, at
Got
least 15 websites we tried. Some of them let us do 4 or 5 trials. So we had big hopes. And after 5th one, it was blocking. So that was the biggest time loss for us to
Got
find
it.
a website.
So how did you and your team were, I mean, discussing or communicating among the group?
WhatsApp.
Every day, okay.
Mhm.
So,
Sorry.
so every day we had this WhatsApp, we have Google Meet.
Mhm.
Every evening we were sitting from 8 to 11 almost.
Mhm.
Some days of obviously weekends were a little difficult for everybody to meet up, but
Mhm.
we are trying our best to meet every day from 8 to 11 and figure out for this, this is the first time for many of us.
Mhm.
So Mahashweta had to like chime in a lot of times to help us out where we were dealing with the XPath. The XPath was not working. Then we are going to CSS selector. That was working. Sometimes the very issue of a scroll bar will hinder the test to go ahead. So it was a lot of learning, and I'm glad we were able, like she was able to help us out, and that's the way we work together.
Got it. So did any time you all felt like, okay, guys, Zoom meeting is not working or meetup meeting is not working. Let's meet in library or somewhere in person. Anyone can share the experience?
I was thinking to do if everything would go well and if we had time, then we would. I was thinking maybe we can do Selenium grid by meeting everybody because together. Otherwise, it's not possible, as we know. But we ran out of the time. But otherwise, we did pretty good meeting line. One time, Kavita had an issue with Jenkins, so I said, Kavita, we live very close by. There is no point we go to this, Google. So come over my house, and then came in 2 hours. Everything was perfectly fine. So yes, definitely, it will be really good if in reality if we were close by. But we are. One is in Naperville, one is in Schaumburg, and one is. So it's really hard with working movements and kids. But definitely will make our life easy if we were close by. Yes.
So why? Sorry, go ahead.
Time constraint was also one thing. Like even if somebody is working very hard, the other person can only work from 8 to 11, right? So that's that's the issue I was facing because I'm usually working from morning 8 to evening 8. So that's the issue. There were many people who are working. Mahashweta is working, and they're all others are working. So that's the whole thing.
No, I appreciate like, well, you are doing multitasking. Yeah, that is a challenge when you are having a multiple activities to perform at the same time. Yeah, it is challenge. Now, let's say if you are going through this journey again and you have, let's say, one more month, what additional things would you add in this project?
I would add more plugins. I would like to work on a Selenium grid that and, Eclipse and Cucumber. That 4 things I would work more next time.
And let's say if somebody asks, like, what specific thing did you learn? Maybe bullet point 1 or 2. What did you learn specifically part of this project work?
Sequencing and putting all the work in one sequence. In sequencing the test method and the whole test classes. That one thing. And
and for me, it was like right from the first thing, like coding. What codes, even if we are doing from Catalan, what are the codes which will actually show the test case? Like understanding the codes, putting the codes inside and trying to find the location of real locations and like debugging the codes. So understanding what things will hinder the code or what things are not working for the understanding the code itself was a big challenge for me initially. Later on, as we kept on working and asking and helping out each other, we got to know, okay, this is what we need to do to get the things we want in our codes for testing. That is one thing. And obviously, I would love to use the CI/CD pipeline more because I think in one time you don't get that much of practice where your confidence is like, to use it very efficiently every time. I would love to like do that if I get more time.
Got it. But overall, like, what do you think before project and after project? Do you guys see the confidence is increasing What's your take on?
I think my confidence has increased. Obviously, my take on it is like, don't leave it here. That whatever I've learned, if I leave it here, it will be a difficult thing. The idea is to learn from this, and then if you get time, always work on it to learn more. So that I think if I was had more time, I would have been contributing more to what I have done right now. Just so understanding more.
Iman, do you want to add anything? Iman, or Margaret?
So whatever I wanted to tell, like Shilpi has told that regarding.
See, read your mind, huh?
Sorry.
See, read your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it's a very good thing to work on a project, because if you don't know something, if you have a doubt or a confusion, we can discuss with each other and we can help each other. That's the greatest thing happening in this project. We can learn from each other. Nobody is good at everything, but everybody is good at something. So we can learn from each other and use it for ourselves.
Got it. So, like, first of all, when you compare your work with other team, like what are the things you like about other group, which you can say, I wish we could have added in our project, or we can continue in the upcoming weeks? What are the few items you like from project A, which they presented, which you think I wish we should have added or we should work on?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, go
Jira.
ahead. Yes,
I think we
Jira.
did not use Jira. We can, if we had a chance, we can also use Jira also in our project.
Yeah. Jira and BDD, those two things I'm impressed with their work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for all those effort you and everyone had put to the in the project. And trust me, it's a learning, right? As I think Silpi mentioned, some people might be starting stage, some people may be in the middle stage, some maybe in experience or expert stage. And that is the reason cross-functional team really enjoy the most, because you're learning. Everyone is learning at different level. So there's no right or wrong answer in project. It's all about learning opportunity. In my understanding, you learn more when you start from zero, right? Versus a person who start from a certain level, because that person may have specific learning, while the person who start from zero, a new beginning, they have a super learning, because you have a huge learning curve, because you learn, oh, wow, I learned so many tools and technology part of the project. So I hope you are excited. Give a big round to this group.